Alright, so today what we're going to be doing is starting making our welding table. Basically what we started out with is a piece of really strong steel shelving unit that we picked up from the garbage basically. It's pretty good, as you can see I'm just standing on it, it's not flexing at all. So basically what I did is I took one of these, we cut it in half to this length here so that it could be essentially a good welding table. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this 1/4 inch piece of steel, weld it on there just so that we can get a good ground when we MIG weld on it. So we're going to weld that on there, and then I'm going to get a piece of 1/4 inch steel that's 18 inches long by 13 inches long here, and then basically we're just going to weld that whole sheet here, and then that's going to be our welding table. That way we can just put metal on here, have the ground on it, and then we can just essentially weld on there and it'll work perfect. Over here we basically got it started. You can see some of the welds on here. We were just practicing with it. We got the Chicago welder from Harbor Freight, 90 amp, and as you can see it works out pretty well. We got some beads down over here, and this is just our practice table basically. What we're doing is just seeing if we can weld. All the welds on here are pretty strong. I mean, this one's only tacked down and you can't even pull it off. We had 3 people on here trying to pull this one off and it would not come off, and that's a solid bead. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to lay a couple more on here just to practice, and then we're going to get a piece of steel, put it on there, and weld that on there all the way around along with the ground. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lay a couple practice beads on here to see how this piece holds up. Basically this is going to be covered all in 1/4 inch steel, so I'm just going to practice welding on this because we're going to weld the whole 1/4 inch piece all the way across, all the way around onto this piece. And as you can tell, we got a bunch on here that aren't coming off, so I'm just going to try to practice on this one. It was a little bit rough start, but wire brush down, that weld's not going anywhere. For a welder with no gas and just flux in the wire, I think that's pretty good. It's not bad for only your 3rd time welding though. Alright, so now basically what we got is the table that I'm actually going to be making. Since we don't have the sheet of metal yet, I'm just going to weld this piece on so that once this is welded on, this is going to be flipped over and the piece is going to be on the other side. That way we can just put this ground on here once it's welded on, and then we have a solid place to just put grounds, so that way if we want to MIG weld, TIG weld, arc weld on this, you could do any of it by just clamping it on here instead of trying to grab it on this grate piece. That way it makes it a lot easier. So I'm just going to put this on here for the time being. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack it down to start, and then I'll lay a bead all the way across it. or I don't know why it's jumping so much, but it kind of moved at first on me, so I had to like fill in a gap. For now, it's kind of on there. It ain't going nowhere. And I'm just gonna go across it again just to make sure it's strong enough. And then I'll probably go in here just to fill it